Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League breakfast.
Let's begin with the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange trading update.
Thank you, Tinashe. So what we are now seeing on the ZSP is a slowdown in activity. If you look at the gains that were recorded yesterday, all of them across the board in terms of the indices were below 1%. So yet your all-share index are gaining by just 0.29%. The top 10 index by just 0.45%. So you can see there is now a significant slowdown in terms of movement on the ZSP. In the last couple of weeks, we were witnessing very strong gains of more than 2%, 3%. At some point, we even had a 6% gain on a given day. So there's a slowdown. And like I said, it seems like there was a little bit of liquidity injected into the economy when the government made some supplier payments of roughly 300 million ZiG. And obviously, with the financial intelligence unit out in full force, what used to happen in the past where suppliers are paid and then the rate goes haywire, it didn't happen as much. Yes, there was a movement of the exchange rate. I'm told it went up to 23 at some point. I'm not sure where it is now, but there wasn't much activity even on that front. So the financial intelligence unit is closely monitoring developments, and it's not a new thing. I've heard people saying that it's a separate exchange rate because the financial intelligence unit is out there. You know, the financial intelligence unit is not operating outside the laws that have been there for years. It's just enforcement which was not there, maybe because there wasn't indiscipline at that point. Maybe because the parallel market was not as prevalent as it is, but the laws that the financial intelligence unit use for enforcement have always been there. It's like the Bank Use Promotion Act, which says that you are given a certain time to deposit your daily taking from your business. If you're in a business operation, you are given some time to make sure that you have deposited that money. You must have a bank account. But at the moment, there are a lot of a significant number of businesses that do not operate a bank account, that do not bank their daily takings. And it's actually outside the law when you look at the Bank Use and Promotion Act. But it's just the enforcement that might not be there. I think Bono, during his era, at some point, he tried to enforce it. So these are laws that have always been there. And then coming back to the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, just looking at where investors were putting their money. Remember, I said that when this bull run started, it started with the big cap counters, like your top counters in terms of market capitalization. So I'm talking about your Deltas, your Econet, your CBZ. This is where investors were putting their money. But now that these companies are probably correctly valued or overvalued, we are starting to see investors looking for other companies of good fundamentals that might not have moved when the bull run started. So yesterday, the top riser was Mashonaland Holdings, up by 14.49%. It was followed by Ariston. We have seen Ariston doing a very good run in the last three trading days, and yesterday it was up by 12.88%. Channel up by 10%, ZHO up by 8.74%, and GB Holdings up by 5.71%. And then there was a little bit of profit taking with BAT dropping 15%, Kafka easing 13.04%, Citco down by 3.85%, and then also had Nampec and EcoCash also losing ground in terms of yesterday's trade. So that's how the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange has been performing. I think we are likely to see the market trading sideways, or it might have a pullback with those who think that they have made money, selling off their shares to get their profits out of the market. Or to look for other investment opportunities elsewhere. So that's what we are seeing on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange at the moment.
All right, there's a question here, Kudzie, that says, if the current liquidity injection that drove the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange up ceases, are we likely to see prices on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange going down again, or they will probably be maintained at the current levels?
Thank you. So I think I might have guessed what the next question was, because in my last statement, that's what I was highlighting to say I think the market will trade sideways, which is like flat. No big movement. We just see either a slight decline or a slight increase or gain. Or we might have a pullback where those who think they've made money will find for investment opportunity elsewhere. I'm hoping, actually, trust me, I'm hoping for a pullback so that we can buy again. Remember, the basic rule of investment is to always buy low. And if you're a long-term investor, you can get excited about these strong gains, especially if they are sustainable, and when they go up, like Toki vibes, when the market goes up, it doesn't come off. However, if you are one of those who say, okay, I want to continue investing in the market, and you want to invest regularly, probably you are saying, okay, this is my long-term investment. I want the market to pull back again so that I can invest at lower prices than where they are currently at. I think delta in US dollar terms is around 80 cents or between 80 cents and 90 cents. And for me, probably it's a little bit expensive, and I would like to buy back again at around 30 cents. Like what we were, the levels we were buying last year. We were buying Econet at about 8 cents. You remember, 7 cents at some point last year when everyone was running away from the market, and we were saying, this is the time to be accumulating shares, buy as much as you can. And I think I remember in one session, or whether it was on air or in a conversation, when I was saying last year allowed me to buy more shares than I had ever bought before. So now people will be enjoying their fruits, those who were buying at the low, now that they are high. So I'm expecting a pullback. Hopefully, Professor Mthuli Ncube will say something that might just upset the market a bit when he delivers his 2024 midterm budget statement this Thursday.
And what are some of the expectations to that address that we'll hear from the minister?
Look, I think it remains the same in terms of expectations. One thing that I would also want to know, apart from what I said before, to say I would want to know how they are funding the government projects, the SADC-related projects, and also how they are funding the drought relief. Because I understand yesterday during the post-cabinet briefing, the Minister of Agriculture spoke about that they have given import licenses to companies to bring in about 3 million tons of maize, which is more than enough. We need about 2.2 million tons as a country, but importers have applied to import about 3 million tons. So, but this is for the private sector, so government obviously still needs to play a role in feeding the vulnerable communities, and it would be interesting to hear from Professor Ncube whether whatever they are spending now is in line with the budgets that he did in November last year. And then also, I would also be interested to know what interventions government is going to take ahead of the 2024-25 agricultural season. Remember that farmers didn't harvest anything. Farmers don't have resources to go back into the fields, and they'll need some funding to do that. And I think I'll be interested to hear from him how it's going. And then there was also a matter that dominated discussions a few weeks or so ago. That is to do with the funding or the loan that was given to Mutapa Investment Fund, which was used to buy out minority shareholders in Kuvimba. I think it has been a bit controversial, and there isn't enough information around that. Hopefully, it's something that can be disclosed when he's talking about the national debt. So that's another area that I'm interested to hear. The Deputy Minister of Finance has already said no tax hikes, but I think the tax net will be spread much wider than it is currently. So some people that might not be paying taxes now might be caught in that tax net going forward. And for me, I support that, because I don't think there should be free riders in our economy. There's a lot that needs to be done, and anyone who is earning in Zimbabwe should be able to make a contribution. I know some people say, no, but people are just trying to survive. Yes, even for those who are employed, when on the tax-free threshold on my salary, when tax, so the vulnerable communities will be taken care of. But kune dzimwe mbinga dzekutoita mari muikonomi umu dzinoita mari kutopfuura iwewe unozokomplaina uchiti vanhu varoredza kurarama. So kune dzimwe mbinga dzisiri kubhadhara matax, would want to see them paying taxes. Dzimwe mbinga dziri kutaurwa even mumacost kuti dzakaita mari inotyisa, would also want to know how they are being put into the tax net, whether they paid the taxes for the deals that they continuously get. So these are some of the expectations for me going into the midterm budget statement that will be presented this coming Thursday by the Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion.
Kudzie, ndanzwa uchiti imosha kusaisa mari kubenki. But with what's happening in my bank edu Kudzie katinokuwara.
Thank you, Tinashe. So this has been a very topical issue. Remember, I was here since last Thursday. I was here in Victoria Falls since Thursday. The first conference that I was in for the ICAS Winter School, and the issue of bank charges, the issue of how banks are conducting their business was very topical. And then from Saturday and Monday, Tuesday, I was in another conference. That's the Switch Payments Conference. Again, the most heated discussion or panel was again on the costs that the banks from the banks, and again there were strong opposition against what the banks are charging us. Of course, here and there they can actually justify the cost, but the bottom line was that Zimbabweans are not happy with the banking sector. And the one that was circulating on social media, where one bank is said to have charged someone $2 for buying something using $2, it also came topical. And people are saying, but maybe you shouldn't swipe. But then if there's no cash, what do I use? You are encouraging plastic money, the use of plastic money. But when I then use that plastic money, you charge me an arm and a leg. So it was again topical. So I'm with you, Patsani. Banks need to do something about it so that it can encourage people to bank again, to use banks again.
All right, Kudzie, thank you so much for business focus for today. Maybe you can note this one down for tomorrow. Somebody's saying that the bank charges, what are the differences, say, in average between a building society and a commercial bank? Say we use $1,000 as arbitrary figure. Maybe you need to note it down, and we respond to that tomorrow because our time is up for today.
Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.